What it do, Vinny? Give me a couple minutes so that I can send out invitations, all that good stuff. Oh, like always, open mic. Feel free to throw out the request if you want to, brother. I got you, dog. Appreciate you stepping up, grabbing a mic. How you doing tonight?
What's going on, my brother? Doing good. Just chilling.
Just chilling, just chilling. I feel you, man. A little busy today. Had to pull open the space a couple minutes late, but we're here. We're rocking. Getting ready to talk about last night's card. Maybe a couple of the other extra fights that we got on BKFC. Just check in what everybody's talking about, seeing what they thought about it.
Yeah, BKC, was it good?
Actually, it was they pulled a Bellator special, man. Fucking you remember Julian Lane, the Let Me Bang guy from
Yeah.
Tough? He fought, and after the first round, his opponent's bicep tore, and
Oh,
they didn't let him fight.
so the
Another
other guy, the other guy won, right? I
no,
mean,
let me bang guy won. He won by TKO.
oh, okay, okay, I got you.
So there was that one. There was another one. Todd Duffy versus Ben Rothwell. Some UFC vets there. Todd Duffy falls over and tells the ref he can't fight anymore because he has a stinger in his shoulder. That was pretty bitch, if you ask me. And I get it. You don't want to get hit by fucking Ben Rothwell, but stinger in the shoulder, and he says he's done. So then that was in the first round, literally like first 30 seconds. Then the co-main event had Lorenzo Hunt, who is a two-weight champion, going up to heavyweight to try and take the heavyweight belt as well. Um, he gets knocked down in the first round, breaks his fall with his hand, and he said dislocates, but that shit looked broken. It looked like he broke his elbow. His hand twisted his arm twisted the wrong way whenever he fell. That was pretty nasty.
Yeah, sounds like a bad injury, man.
Yeah, man, it looked nasty and fuck, man, I get it. He's a BKFC champ, so the dude must be tough. But he just looks up and he's like, "Doc, my arm's broken, can't fight." Like he didn't give a fuck, man. He was just like, "Yeah, it's broken. It's a."
Yeah,
But then yeah, and then in the main event, freaking Mike Perry dust off Pitbull Tiago Alves in like 30 seconds.
Thiago Alves,
Yeah,
the one that used
yeah,
to be in the UFC.
yeah, bro. Old school.
Oh my god, he dusted them all, huh?
Yeah,
Is Mike
short.
Perry pretty good? Yeah, he's the champ, right? He's the champ.
So that's the weird part. He's like obviously the biggest star and shit. But no, he's not even a champ. They made up a belt called the King of Violence for him and Eddie
uh,
Alvarez, and he beat Eddie. So he's the King of Violence, but he's not a weight class champion.
that's weird. All right.
Yeah, but yeah, short left hook and that put Alves down, and he got up before the 10 count, but the ref, you know how they do the step to the left, step forward shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
he stumbled while stepping to the left, and ref didn't let him continue.
Wow, that's cool. I mean, that's bad, but I mean, it happens.
They announced that Conor McGregor bought them out though, so Conor now owns the BKFC.
But really,
Yeah, I'm sure that's something that Joe will have on the
McGregor?
yeah, yeah, weird, right? They were like, we have a big announcement, and then they shot to a video package of Connor talking about how he
He
bought in or he bought it completely.
probably bought in majority.
Yeah,
So I don't think you could hold the whole thing. Or oh, you got something? Let's check it out.
yeah. That's
Oh,
can't
that's
throw
Mike
up the
Perry.
sound. Yeah, I can't throw up the sound, but that's Mike Perry. Like I said, I think he's gonna about to finish him in like 20 seconds into the fight. Um, yeah, busy ass day, so I didn't take down much notes about any of the lines from last night's fights, but I can quickly just look through them whenever we're talking about them. Did you bet last night?
Hell yeah, dude, I took it. I bet. I didn't think fucking Perez was gonna win though, but he got it through. I mean,
Did you take Perez?
no, I didn't think Perez. I thought
Okay.
they sold me out. They sold me on Nicolau, man. But I mean, I had a feeling that Perez was gonna fucking take a ball away or knock him out, I should say. But I mean, I was like, Nicolau has been looking so bad lately, man. He used to be one of my favorite Brazilian fighters, and now he's like shit.
Yeah, man, and going into the fight, there was a couple of people talking about how he can be chinny, and I was honestly thinking like, yeah, we've seen him get knocked out and we've seen him get wobbled, but
Well, he's got 3 losses in a row. All of a sudden, he comes out and beats Nicolau or whatever, is it Nicolau, and I don't know, man. Just Matthias looked horrible.
yeah, I honestly, I could say it was more of like a fading Perez than fucking going on Nicolau, and that ended up fucking me over.
Yeah, yep, exactly. I should have just faded him.
But
But I did good. I did good on all the other fights, man. Before that, I mean, like the last two is the ones I screwed up. But I mean, I didn't take Bogdan or what's his name was
yeah,
gonna beat
Bogdan Guskov.
Guskov. Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna beat Spawn, but he beat him. Spawn had him, man. I don't know what the fuck happened to that fight.
Classic Spawn, man. Classic Spawn does good for the first couple of minutes and then just starts shit in the bed.
Yeah, sure did. Classic
But,
Spawn.
but we get to talk about the wins first because we start off from the bottom. Did you have anything on the Gabriel Benitez Mahashate fight? Because I took
Did you think
I,
Benitez?
no, I took the over 1.5. I mean, I know people were thinking that Mahashate was gonna come in and sleep Benitez in the first round, and I
Yeah,
was
Benitez
thinking,
looked good. Benitez looked good. I mean, he's just a little bit more, but I thought it was close fight.
yeah, just he's just a little too old at that point. I mean, I took over 1.5 just thinking that we just saw Benitez take a beating from Jim Miller, and he didn't get finished till the third round. Mahashate is only 24 years old. Uh, he wasn't gonna have enough, but
Yeah,
he. What's up?
I didn't think I didn't think Masahate had a good fight. I don't know. Is he coached by what's his name, Santino?
Yeah, Santino DeFranco. That was one thing that freaked me out because they kept on talking about like, oh, his new camp.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that I know of, he's been with Santino DeFranco for quite a while already. I know Santino DeFranco's got he's got those Mongolian guys over there.
yeah,
I thought Mahashate was also there. I don't remember their names, but one of them goes by Mongolian Marauder, and the other one goes by Mongolian Knight.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I thought Mahashate was already there, but maybe this he's new to the camp.
I
But
didn't know he was new, but I know he didn't want to talk about him when I heard him out on the views on his picks for the, and then
that's
I figure he was with them.
yeah, that's funny because that's like the only. I stopped listening to other people's picks and whatnot. I feel like it kind of like fucks you over, but I really
Yeah,
appreciate.
I think you're right, man. I think it's bad if you listen to too many of them. I mean, if you don't know the fighters, I guess it's good. But if you know the fighters, I think you better go on your own pick.
Yeah, for sure, on your own knowledge and your own tape.
Yeah.
But I personally hold Santino DeFranco like really high as a corner and as a coach, so I
You know
always
what?
listen to him.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah, like he's good like
Game
how
plan.
yeah, I guess game plan how the other fighters are. You know how I guess how to beat them, how to beat the
Yeah,
other fighters. But I mean. It's one thing to plan for it, and another thing to do it. I guess because
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like you can have the perfect plan, but if your fighter doesn't go out there and execute it, it doesn't even fucking matter.
exactly, exactly.
Some good lines that we could have hit for this one were
I
Mahashate by decision were plus 350, and then goes the distance plus 190. Those are some pretty good ones for this one that I didn't hit. I just hit the over.
Yeah, yeah. No, I took Masahate so because I wanted to get a sure thing, and I was like I said I was scared. I took Benito though, Benito on one of my other parlays just to see what's up, but that one didn't hit, of course.
Yeah, and I ain't mad at that. I think when it came to the Tuesday space, I was saying like Benitez was probably in a good get back spot just because of the whole Jim Miller situation, having him fight Miller injured right before fucking the 300 fiasco, getting him a win right before he goes to 300. So I thought it was a good idea to throw a little something on Benitez. Um,
Yeah, you had a
on,
good chance.
on to the next one, Nali Young versus Ivana Petrovic. I'm
Oh, what a!
sure. What were you gonna say?
I said, what a boring ass fight.
Man, I'm sure a lot of people had their fucking butts clenched on the fucking fight goes the distance no minus 325 because everybody thought that was a free parlay piece and it ended up being a good parlay piece, but
I took the 1.5 on that one.
for over 1.5.
Yeah, over 1.5.
Good job, man. On one of my parlays I took under 1.5 and really thought one of these bitches were gonna die early.
Dude,
And
I knew that fight was gonna be boring ass this fight, and they didn't know how to fucking fight. I was like, man, this thing's gonna go over. And then I
yeah,
saw, and then I saw the 1.5 instead of 2.5. I'm like, I'm taking that shit.
and honestly, man, I feel like an idiot because most of the time I say like if you get plus money on a woman's fight over 2.5, you take it. Who gives a
Yeah.
fuck? Who cares who it is? It's plus money on an over 2.5. You take it. So for you to get an over 1.5 on a woman's fight, you should always be taking that shit. And my dumbass took the under on a parlay. Um,
Oh,
but
Joe
uh,
did.
but
Joe.
for some of these lines, Petrovic by submission plus 160. So there was still a little bit of a good hit right there. Petrovic to win in round three plus 525, and then Petrovic round three. What the fuck is this? Petrovic round three submission plus 1,100. Man, so there was a lot of good lines to hit when it came to this fight.
Yeah, man, you don't know what to expect in that fight. I'm telling
Yeah, but ain't no need to talk about that one for way too long. The next one, James Lontop versus Chris Padilla. I didn't really even look into this one much.
you. This is the
I
one. This is the one that I thought make money on.
Oh yeah,
I took Chris Padilla.
nice plus 360 closing according to
Yeah, I took. I think I took him at 330. I put him in the parlay with the Mahashate, that other girl that we just talked about, him, and the other one was the the one we're gonna talk about later. Dude, I hit that parlay.
nice, good hit indeed. I did take the under on a parlay here because that's kind of what the strat was saying and. Kind of just what the trends was telling me from everybody talking about it. But some lines for this one were Padilla inside the distance plus 600. That alone would have been very fucking good to hit. Padilla by submission plus 1,200 in round one plus 1,200 as well. And then Padilla submission one round one plus 3,000. So lots of good numbers to fucking to try and hit, and that's been one of the things that I've been trying to just implement into the game. You see those ridiculous, stupid ass numbers, you touch them a little bit just because. I mean, shit, round one submission plus 3,000. Why the fuck not, right? It ended up hitting. What's going on, guys?
What's happening, bud?
Nothing much. I already went through these first two. We're talking about Lon Top and Padilla. Um,
Yeah, I
y'all
was.
got anything?
Nah, I wasn't real hip on the early prelims on this card at all, so I'm just happy to listen. Man, I did. I wasn't surprised Mays won, but I'll wait for you to get there, bro, because I like listening to the shit you got on the bet. So
Oh yeah, well the Maze one of my homeboys hit me up and was like, "Let's go," because I had told him to bet a couple of things on that one. But yeah, if we're done with the long top one, just shout out Chris Padilla showing up as a big underdog on short notice against somebody that was obviously heavy favored, minus 460 close. So he got the fucking job done. Good for him. Ketlin Souza versus Marnik, man, another easy over. Strat said over. We knew Marnik, man, was going to wrestle when she could, so that was gonna lend to the over,
She
and
was
she didn't.
she was too small for that other girl, man.
Way too small. It's crazy how
The other girl
she,
just controlled her.
she should be a 115 or I mean a 105er if that division was there. Yeah, Ketlin Souza with her just power and size ended up looking every bit of the minus 365 up until the end of that third round when Man did get a couple of takedowns. I
I
think
felt
that's
like man got the second though, right?
I'd have to rewatch it.
Bro, I'm
No,
pretty
she
sure
got she
man
got
pieced her.
dominated.
No, bro, she pieced her up in the second.
no. So I think what happened was Souza pieced her up in the first half of the second, and then maybe that last minute Man turned it on just a little bit. I still, like I said, I'd have to go
I
rewatch it,
mean,
but I,
she's Manning is pretty built and pretty She's like a tough little girl, but I mean, she was just too much. Salsa was too much for her,
oh yeah, she's got that Michael Chandler build. That girl is stocky as a motherfucker.
He said Michael Chandler, though.
man.
You can't lie, man. Fucking the girl's got better traps than any of us in the chat right now.
Ain't no
Not
lie.
not really good fucking odds when it comes to this one. Souza minus 365 goes the distance minus 200. I'm sure it sucked if you saw Souza land some of those nasty ass combos, hoping that you had that goes the distance no ticket, and it did not cash. Souza by decision minus 120. There really wasn't anything good to hit here because would you? I mean, you would have won, but would you be happy with holding a Souza by decision minus 125, especially if you had to sweat through those combos when it was close to being stopped? Yeah, fuck this fight.
No, that fight did exactly what it was supposed to do. Talking about it's great and everything, but it did exactly what it was supposed to. It went the distance.
On to the next, Dante Mays. Yeah, okay, so the parlay that I did hit had the over on that one, over on Dontel Mays, over on Austin Hubbard fight, and over on the Hani Yaya fight. And geez, was that last one a sweat, but we'll get there. I had told my homeboy, he asked me for my locks of the night, and I told him, man, fuck this card. No, there's not really any locks. Like, I don't really trust anything on this card. Lock, Dontel Mays by decision, over 2.5. Fight goes the distance on just that fight, and just leave it like that. Take that and run away. And he hit every single one of those, so happy for fucking him. I actually got Dontel's money line at plus 110. Got it right before it went up to plus 116 in closing. Over 2.5 minus 170. Fight goes the distance minus 140. Oh, what else are we looking at? Maze by decision plus 250. These are the shitty things. So this is the homeboy that I always go over for the big pay-per-views with. We get there at an hour, 2 hours early. We'll write down all of our fucking plays, all the smart plays that we have on pencil and paper, and then I'll never take them. Once again, I gave him all of my locks and didn't take any of them except that Maze money line. But
Uh,
that's just another thing to work on, right? Take those fucking gut plays. Typical
but
Maze
yeah, but
fight,
bro,
right?
just remember the strat. whatever the strat definitely says that the Mays fight was an over 1.5 and just move on. Like I know it went the distance, so it's easy and like retrospect. You're like, oh no, the rule is this, but the rule is lower level MMA in the UFC. You take the 1.5, a lower level heavyweight in the UFC. You take the fucking 1.5 and you just move on. You don't even bet the fight. You just fucking take the 1.5 and you move on. So good for you for hitting it every way you could, man.
No, that's the thing. I put down all those plays and only hit May's money line, so I should have made hella money on this fucking fight.
I thought
But
you said you parlayed it.
no,
Oh,
yeah,
did
yeah,
the
I
lay not
parlayed.
get it? Did the lay
No,
not make it? I got
okay.
you.
Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, so you're catching me. So I hit the money line and I did parlay the over, and the parlay did cash. So you know what? I should just shut the fuck up and stop complaining. But I had the perfect read on this one, and it was a typical fucking maze fight, man.
To a
I
T,
don't.
bro. Perfect. That
Yeah,
was Dontel Mays. That's it. What does the Dontel Mays fight look like? Well, if you go look at this card that he was on with Alex Pereira and Matus Nicolai, that is exactly what it was supposed to look like. And I felt like that one's pretty. I just felt like the over was honestly easy cap on that one, man. That's it. That's all. I'm not gonna keep killing it. I just felt like it was sincerely easy cap.
I did say in the chat, I was like, oh man, he dropped Machado there in that first round. I hope Machado decides to fight a little cleaner and smarter so that he doesn't get dropped again. And he said, nah, let's just keep winging shit and let's just keep striking it up at fucking close distance. It had me a little scared, but overcast. Anybody else on the Mace fight?
Thank goodness.
Cool, cool. We can move on to the Twitter robbery of the night, man. I hope not a lot of people in here had Fig Lack. I took the flyer on Austin Hubbard at plus 170. So there was nobody here other than Vinny. At the beginning of the night, I always like to stay transparent. I've gone over a couple of rules when it comes to these shows. One, hit ridiculous numbers like that plus 3,000 round one submission for Lon Top. I mean, Padilla in the Lon Top fight. Two, hit the most obvious things like a Dontel Mays by decision. Usually they're gonna fucking cash. And three, stay disciplined, man. Um, Going into these last three fights of the fucking card, I was up probably I think 5.5 to 6 units, and we'll get to fucking our girl Corrine Silva that made me throw away all that profit. I hit Austin Hubbard plus 170. Some of the ones that you could have hit here, I took the over on that parlay. Fight goes the distance minus 210. That should have been a big green flag on hitting that over. Hubbard wins by decision plus 240. I know a lot of people were saying this one was a robbery. When it came to that second round, I barely gave it to Hubbard. The third round I thought was Figlax pretty clear. First round, I didn't get to watch at all. I think I maybe watched like the last 30 seconds. So I can't really speak on the robbery. I'm just happy I was on the right side. Anybody on the Figlax Austin fight?
I just want to throw out there that I felt like people saying robbery were probably betters. That was one of them ones, man. I wasn't mad the way it went. I thought Figlack took it, to be honest. But when they gave it to Hubbard, I wasn't like, "Oh my God, what a robbery!" Brr. I was just like, "Well, all right, that's how the judges had it." Like, I don't know. I just didn't think it was a robbery, but robbery was a. I seen it all over. I seen it all over on that one. Better times.
Yeah, I was on the Hubbard. I bet Hubbard beforehand, but looking at the fight, I thought. Now, I think Hubbard outstruck him all 3 rounds, but the first round, I think Figlak had the bigger moments. The second round, to me, it was clearly Hubbard. And the third round was actually pretty close, so I wouldn't have been mad either way. It was just the visual at the end had me thinking that it may be Figlak. But other than that, that was a really close fight, and it was a really good fight at that. I love that fight.
Yeah.
So they went even total strikes in round one. Hubbard outstruck him in two, and Figlack outstruck him in three. And then significant strikes, it went Figlack 1, Hubbard 2, Figlack 3.
Yeah, I want to say I saw somebody like one of these MMA journalists on Twitter fucking talk about how there was no control time and what's it called? Fig like outstruck in total, I guess, with between all three rounds, that it should have been Fig like easy. And for me, looking at that fight, it just seemed like Hubbard was a lot more busier. Like even in rounds where Fig like maybe have outstruck him, it just seemed like Hubbard was touching him more. I thought that jab was popping his head back, kind of made it look significant. Like Figlak landed his shots too, but they just I don't know. They didn't seem as much with the volume and. Like I told Max in the group chat, it's not like any of these were like, oh fuck, he's stumbling or he's bleeding, he's cutting, he got knocked down. They were just some big shots from Figlak, and
Well,
I
it's
ain't
just
mad at it.
it's optics too, and it is power because like when you look at the numbers, Figlack threw 218, landed 100. Austin threw 220, landed 99. Significant strikes, 210 to 206. Figlack threw more. 92 to 88 landed. Figlack landed more. Like it was close, but like you said, you felt like you watched it and felt like Hubbard was able to piece him up, touch him the whole time, and had the edge. Like a lot of times, it's optics for the judges, and like that's what it is. I would say there were definitely more points in the fight where I thought Hubbard looked like body language, like he felt like he was winning the fight, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's just appearance to the judges. I just whatever. I still don't think it was a robbery either way. Aussie, nice to see you, bud.
Yeah, g'day, fellas. How's it going? Always enjoy catching up with you guys after the fights. Um, yeah, this was one I thought I had it the total opposite for the judges. I had Figlack winning one and two and Hubbard winning three. Everyone in our space thought he was up 2 rounds going into the third. And I don't know, man. One of the guys in our space put a 10 unit bet live on Figlack. and
Ooh,
and that poor guy, man, I mean, he ate shit on that card. But I don't know, man. This is one I thought it was easy to score. I had the first two Figlack, and I was kicking myself for not betting him pre-fight. Like during that third round, I was like, oh, why didn't I bet it? Everything I thought was going to happen happened. He had the bigger moments on the feet. He was the stronger, more technical guy. He looked better. Hubbard didn't look great as he's throwing his strikes, or when he gets hit, he didn't look great. I don't know. I was really surprised. Actually, I was really surprised. But yeah, not that it was a blowout. It's not like there were any 10-8 rounds or nothing crazy like that. It just seemed like it was easy rounds to score, but for whatever reason, they went the opposite.
and that's crazy that you're saying all of y'all had one and two Figlack, three for Hubbard, and the sadly the only scorecards that I mean sadly for you, I won that damn Hubbard decision for me, but like the only three scorecards had it one to Hubbard, three for Figlack. Um, crazy. I think Joe really hit it with just optics, because there were those punches where fucking Figlack would hit Hubbard, and Hubbard would take a step back and just be like, "God damn, this fucker just hit me really hard." And I was scared, especially in that second round. People were saying it's a little more clear for Hubbard. I was thinking it was a very close round that I'm giving to Hubbard. A lot of people were thinking, "Oh, it was them big shots that gave it easily for Figlack." But I guess
Yeah,
judging is subjective. We just have a criteria to fucking build around, right?
I would have been happier with a 30-27 Hubbard than a 29-28 because I don't know how you can give him round one and round two, but not round three. I thought round three was his most dominant round, but um, yeah, I don't know. They kind of gave him the 2 rounds I thought he lost, and then the round I thought was clear to score round three, they gave it to Figlack. So yeah, I don't know.
And like just thinking back to it, I think Hubbard really slowed down in that third round, and Figlack kind of took it away. And then the half shot fucking takedowns where Figlack got a little bit of time on top of him before he got back up. just didn't look good, and that's why I gave it to Figlak. Uh, Definitely one that I'll need to rewatch and try to give a really good scorecard on. Young boy, finish it off.
So that fight, and then I'm gonna try not to go on a tangent. I promise. The boxing card with Haney Garcia. There were three. Those three. There was Haney Garcia, a boxing match before that one, and then this fight for me. Right. These three fights I watched very intently, and I saw how the fight was playing out, and I wanted to know before I continued if anybody saw the live line on Hubbard before the decision was ranked. Did anybody have
Yeah, he
that?
was minus 300
Hubbard?
on Figlak.
No, on Hubbard though. What do you know that?
No,
He's
I
like a
guess it was
plus
plus
270,
240
right?
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. If Figlak was minus 300, Hubbard was probably around plus 260, 270.
Okay. So while we're watching these fights, we need to really like as a live betting opportunity, this should be like almost a system play by now because nobody knows. It doesn't matter how close you watch the fight. Nobody has any fucking clue what the judges are gonna say. It has to be a system play at this point. For like, I don't know, like even 0.25 units, if we see a stupid number on the guy we think is losing, if it's close enough, because I'm telling you, those three fights, period, I could have, if I put $100 on each losing fighter, that's how many bags of Takis. Like, these judges have no idea what the fuck they're watching most of the time. So I think we need to get dialed in and just start hitting these motherfuckers back, dude. Because those three fights, like I'm telling you, the one fight that I can't even remember the name of the guys, the dude that won was a plus 600 or some shit. He was losing the whole fight, and then he got announced the winner. I think it was Barboza something. But point being,
Yeah,
these
you're
judges
talking
have
about
no
him
idea what the
versus
fuck
that
they're doing.
Irish guy.
Yes, he lost like how many rounds of that fucking fight? By like round 11, he was like plus 600 or some shit, and then they closed my line. And then he got announced the winner, but the Irish dude pieced him up the entire time. So we need to start fucking punishing these books for this. Like we really do, because I don't know what the hell they're watching sometimes.
The problem is that situation isn't going to happen like every time. You really got to be paying attention to the fight, and what more than likely you're going to have to let one go to see what the judges are saying for that fight card, and then you can play off that if it happens again. But that Hubbard fight, yeah, I took advantage of it at plus 275. I already knew what was about to happen.
Andrew, you had your hand up? All right. I don't hear the mic at all. So we'll just move on to the next one. But right before, yeah, YB, I kind of like what you're talking about. I mean, on a very, very close fight like that, if odds are crazy, like if they think one person is definitely going to win, I can see how throwing one little unit or half a unit, some shit like that on something like that will show some profit, especially because there's a lot of robbery talks. On to the next one, Hani Yaya versus Victor Henry. Joe was right about the KO coming, but it didn't come in that first or second round. And boy, did it have me sweat because this was the last leg of the parlay, all overs, over 2.5 for this one. Got it at 236. Barely fucking cracked that thing. Victor Henry minus 365. Fight ends inside the distance minus 125. What else do we got? What else do we got? Scrolling. Sorry, didn't write this down before. Henry inside the distance plus 115. So you know what, man? Joe, you were kind of spot on when they're lining Henry, somebody who hadn't had a UFC finish, at plus 115, and then KO was plus 180. Kind of, they kind of knew what was going to happen. Henry wins in round three was plus 500, and then Henry wins in round three plus 700 by KO. So they weren't giving like the best of fucking odds when it came to this one. and the finishes off of Henry. That's another one of those things. Really look at the lines before the fight starts, and trying to read what they tell you, because after the fact, knowing the decision or knowing the outcome and looking at these numbers, it's like the books kind of knew that Yaya wasn't gonna make it to the end of the fight. Luckily, he did hit that over for me better.
Now, this fight was something that could have been taken advantage of on the live line because I knew the odds on Victor Henry was going to go down, and it did because he had to respect the wrestling, and the wrestling set up Yaya's hands, which was just that overhand right, and he really did kept getting hit with that. And I was trying to do it. As soon as I saw like what was happening, like in the second round, I was like, all right, I'm about to just dump like 3,000 on Victor Henry because he was at a minus 248, but then they locked it as soon as he went to a 300, and then he jumped up to an 800, then 1,000, and then they never brought that line back alive. So I just missed out on that. But that would have been a good opportunity for a live bet.
Yeah, man. Yaya looked pretty damn good for that first round, but I was texting my homie. I said, "Old man is looking very old. Not gonna make it past this fucking 2.5." Aussie, go ahead.
Yeah, mate, this was one of my favourite spots on the card. It was always going to be either Yaya round one sub or Yaya was going to get KO'd later. It happened kind of exactly how I thought it would. KO, standing TKO against the cage in the third round. Broke it down on a video earlier this week. It's just Yaya. He's gonna throw more fucking takedowns, attempt more takedowns, and he's gonna land punches, man. He needs to get the fight to the ground. He gasses himself out doing it. We've seen it with other jiu-jitsu guys like Damian Meyer in the past. If they get the takedown, yeah, they can win a decision or they can tap you out. But if they don't, which no one really expected him to here, yeah, the old 41-year-old or however old he is, going for takedowns, he's going to gas a lot quicker than the other guy that's kind of got a proven cardio advantage, So, yeah, I got the KO at 13-1 and just round three at 10-1. And yeah, I think they were all great bets. And I thought the odds, you see it in boxing a lot, the odds aren't necessarily first round KO is the lowest and then, the last round's the highest. Boxing, they kind of know a lot of those KOs come in the middle rounds, but this was way more likely to be a late KO than an early KO, in my opinion. And when you get the odds, 10-1 or 13-1, you just have to play it. It doesn't matter if it loses, it loses, but it's just an auto bet for me.
No, yeah, and I've taken that system or that mindset that you hit by Aussie, and I've really tried to implement it as a rule here when it comes to this show, and something that I look forward to when hitting those bets. Now, I always say my dumbass puts the bets in right before the fight starts, so I don't get enough time to actually look at the lines. But I'll start putting it in there, man. I'll start putting it in there. That was a hell of a fucking hit right there on the round three. Off to Tim Means Euros Medic. One of the losses I took on this one. Over 1.5. Man, I was gonna take Tim Means after round one because I thought Euros was probably put it on him. Then I see Tim Means come out and do his wrestling right from the get go, and I'm thinking, all right, yes sir, I need Euros Medic to land a couple of big shots and get that live line nice and juicy so I can take Tim Means on in the second round. And he knows he needs to drain him a little bit. Yeah, over 1.5 did not come. That fucking uppercut put Tim Means out. And that was it. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 275. Where we at? Medic wins inside the distance, minus 195. Medic by KO minus 120. Another one of these plays where you look at everything and it just says we know exactly what's going to happen. Medic wins in round one plus 160. And then Medic wins by KO in round one plus 215. Absolutely horrible odds for this fight. I mean, you got some plus money on the round one and round one KO plays, but for the most part, they weren't giving you anything because they knew exactly what was gonna happen. Aussie and then better.
Yeah, man, I kind of talked myself into a Tim Means KO at 10-1 bet here. I thought if he wins, a lot of his win equities in that KO, and I had no part of me wanted to bet his his plus 140 or whatever money line it was. Like, and so much of his win equity was in the KO at 10-1. So yeah, I ate a bit of shit on that, but I was never going to bet Euros Medic KO at minus. I don't bet props at chalk. I don't know. I think that's a bad winning strategy long term. But yeah, that was obviously the bet to make in this fight. He knocked him Means out pretty clean. Means had only been knocked out twice in his career before this fight, which is pretty insane, judging by having 50 fights and most of them in the UFC is just insane stat. But yeah, took the Means KO at 10-1. But yeah, he ate shit in that fight pretty clean. Euros Medic, I don't know really what this does for him going forward. I mean, if you're minus 105 or 110 to knock somebody out and then you do it, I don't know if that really gives you much clout. But yeah, he's gonna probably see some tougher matchups coming up. So yeah, I wouldn't be all over his nutsack just yet. I'll definitely be checking their matchups before I go putting money on this guy.
You fade him as soon as they step him up.
100%. Couldn't agree more. We just look for the right time, right fighter. If they were going to give him Andre Fiallo next, yeah, for sure, we take him at minus money. But Andre Fiallo's not in the UFC no more. Let's see what they do next. Better.
See, now I'm mad at myself when it comes to this fight because when I broke down the tape, I knew Medic was going to knock him out. I knew he was going to do it early. And then I came on the space on Tuesday and I told y'all I got Medic knocking him out early, even though I know if it goes on, then it's probably going to go in Tim Means' favor. But I'm on Medic knocking him out early. But everyone talking, I let y'all get in my head. I put down a parlay for $6,000 and I put the over, and it fucked me.
Yeah, that's probably my fault, man. That is probably my fault because I was really on that over 1.5, and I was really thinking that I thought it was what's it called. Aussie was talking about the win being Tim Means KO. Looking at the last or not the last two fights, but his two losses, Medic was submitted by Turner and Miktek Orbay. Love saying that fucking guy's name. Um, I honestly thought Means would make it dirty, hit him hard, and find the submission. Didn't have enough time to see if any of that happened.
What happened there? Why'd it get all silent? Why be?
So this is just another shout for another system play that I've let pass me by, like, I don't know how many times at this point. I could rattle you off a number of freaking quote unquote veterans that have been hyped up to somehow pull a win out of their ass. Maybe the criteria should be like 38 years and over or something, but almost every time you see one of these really older fighters, especially in the lighter division, they almost always die in round 1 or round 2. Like, it's like guaranteed, bro. You could pay your fucking rent with this. It happens so often. Round 1 or round 2, if they make it to round 2, they're getting fucked up almost always. They hardly ever make it to round 3. Cody Garbrandt is a huge example too, like one of the more recent. So that's two in 2 weeks that I can name you. Cody Garbrandt round 2, Means round 1. These guys they're done, and somehow we hype them up in our minds because we're still fans at the end of the day, and we're like, oh, what if he could pull it off again? And they fucking can't.
Usman, you still there? It said you were having some problems. Oh shit, boys, we might be lagging out. Usman, you got that East Coast connection bullshit right now, like me, or what?
I can't even see Usman.
He's in the Cap MMA account. That's Usman.
Oh right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting ready to fucking lag out of here, boys, just so everybody's aware. Man, I know so because we can't hear him. Andrew, can you hear us? You got your hand up over there.
I can hear you, but Usman's definitely not there. And I saw that same shit you did.